Gordon is very proud of being the Fat Controller's top express engine. He is very proud of pulling the express. Pip and Emma also pull an express towards London a few times a day. Gordon is the main express engine on the Fat Controller's railway, but recently he had been underperforming. He had not been able to meet the timetables and was going slower than usual. Come on, I can go faster than this, he grumbled. The Fat Controller had Gordon checked over. You'll have to go to the works, Gordon, he said. You need maintenance. I'll have to get James to pull the express whilst you're away. James was delighted that he was able to pull the express again. He loved whizzing down the track, showing off his shiny red paint to anyone he passed. But all the same, the Fat Controller needed to hire another engine, but there was only one engine available, a diesel. Not just any old diesel, but the one who sucked a bowler hat in his air intake while Stepney was visiting many years ago. The diesel rolled into the shed, to the disgust of all the engines. You! Yes, me, said the diesel. I am needed here because one of you steamers needs to be mended. Besides, the other railway couldn't spare another engine, so you'll have to make do with me. I won't be making do with you, bowler, said James crossly. The diesel felt offended. The name's Daryl, and I don't want to be reminded of that incident many years ago. I was a young engine. Why don't you give him a chance, said Percy. I highly doubt he'll be any different to the time he first came. He is despicable, said Henry. As Percy said, give him a chance, added Thomas. I doubt he will be any different to when he first came. James saw an opportunity to get the diesel in his place. The next morning, Daryl, as he liked to be called, was sitting at the platform when James came up to him. Listen, you! I'm pulling the express today. I want you to go and get me coaches right now. Couple them up to me and I will be gone. Come on, chop chop. Daryl grumbled. Yes, sir, he said in a sarcastic manner, and he went off to get the coaches. As he was shunting them into the station, James grew impatient. Come on! Faster, will you? Daryl felt upset, but he didn't say a word as James stormed out of the station. The next few days continued the same way. Daryl would be sitting at the platform whilst James came in and demanded his coaches, whilst Daryl grudgingly went to fetch them. Daryl began to feel hurt and annoyed with James. Boko pulled up to Daryl. Oh, just ignore him. He has a bad opinion of diesels. I see. Would you like to come and do my work on my branch line? I'd quite like that, said Daryl. Great, said Boko. So it was arranged. Daryl liked being on Edward's branch line. Edward actually was impressed with Daryl. You've changed a lot. You are being quite reliable now. Why, thanks, said Daryl. And then Daryl complained to Edward about James. Oh, just ignore him. He can get like that around diesels. He doesn't trust them. But then James came in. You! Yes, you! James, interjected Edward, but James didn't listen. Tomorrow morning, I'm pulling a very important express. I want me coaches prompt at 7 a.m. You hear? 7 a.m. Not a second or minute afterwards. Got it? James, will you stop? Said Edward. Don't be harassing Daryl, but he's a stinky old diesel. James huffed away. This gave Daryl an idea, and he whispered it to Edward. Edward chuckled at Daryl's plan. I don't think he'll be demanding the express from you after that, he chuckled. The next morning, the plan went ahead. What James didn't know was that Daryl was faking engine trouble so that he'll be late to collect the coaches. James seethed impatiently at the platform. 7:04! Where is that stinky diesel? Daryl and his driver had a specific time they set to get Daryl's engine working. The exact moment hit, and then Daryl rolled away. He went to the platform, and there James was furious. I said to get me coaches at 7 p.m. sharp. You are 10 minutes late. You stinky, oily diesel. It wasn't my fault. I had engine trouble. I don't care, said James. Now go and get me coaches now. The express is already late because of you. Now, come on. Chop, chop, hut, hut, hut. Daryl went to get the coaches. And when he got the coaches behind James, Daryl's driver went into his engine room and did some tweaks to his turbocharger. James didn't know what they had planned. He set off, determined to make up for lost time. Then, Daryl's driver had finished doing the tweaks to Daryl's turbocharger. And they were out on the open main line. Are you ready? Go! He said. He opened the throttle, and Daryl gave an almighty heave. James was surprised. Ah, what's going on? He cried. Daryl pushed and puffed and grunted with all his might, and then he began forcing the express down the main line. His turbocharger was screaming as he forced the express through the countryside. James could not keep up. Slow down! Slow down! He panted, but Daryl wouldn't listen. James was forced up Gordon's Hill and forced down again. Stop! Stop! You're going too fast! Cried James, but Daryl didn't care. With his turbocharger screaming, everyone came out to see what the noise was. They were most surprised to see what was going on. Even though the express departed 20 minutes late, they arrived at Vicarstown 15 minutes early. James was out of breath. Daryl and his driver laughed. Their plan had worked. What was that for? Gasped James. Well, said Daryl, you were late, and I thought you had to make up for lost time. The fat controller stormed out of the carriage. James, he said, I am very disappointed in you. I heard that you've been saying rude things about the diesel here. You were lucky that he was able to push the train and make up for lost time. Yes, sir, said James. And why have you been bossing him around to fetch the express like he was your servant? I am very disappointed in you, James. You'll be shunting trucks for at least 6 weeks. Then he turned to Daryl. Would you like to pull the express until Gordon returns? I would, said Daryl happily. And so it was arranged. Daryl made good time with the express. Everyone was pleased with it. When Gordon got back, everyone was sad to see him go.
I would actually like to come to your railway again soon,
said Daryl.
I must admit,
Said Henry.
I was wrong about you. You truly are a great diesel.
Daryl smiled, and then he rolled away back to the other railway. James was in disgrace. He had to shunt trucks in the yard for 6 long months. How was your ride across the main line being pushed? Said a voice. I'm sure it was exhilarating,